how are you all doing tonight? Thanks for coming. By show of hands, how many of you have spent your whole life trying to make ends meet? Almost all of you, except for this guy in the front. I'll need to talk to you afterwards, okay? Well, I've spent my whole life trying to figure out what ends meet is. I mean, is it like ham sausage or something? Obviously it's something very special. Everybody wants it, and everybody's trying to make it. One sunny day I came home from school, and my mom was crying. It's like, "Mommy, what's wrong?" She says, "Your dad and I work so hard, and we can't even make ends meet." And I'm like, "It's okay, Mommy. I can eat bologna and hot dogs. It's okay." And my mom looked at me, she's like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh, you're such a good son. Why can't your sister Linda be as good as you?" I mean, listen to this, Mike. Your sister Linda put a frog in the mailbox to try to scare the mailman. I mean, what's up with that? The next day when I went to school, which was rare because I held the record for missing the most days of school. True story. My teacher actually started calling me Sunshine Boy because I only went to school on sunny days. You know how it is when it's raining, all you just want to stay in your cozy warm bed, listen to the rain hit the roof, then all of a sudden you hear those dreaded words, "Mike, it's time to get up for school." I suddenly became sick. Chills. Fever of 130 because I stuck my thermometer in my warm milk. Sweating, eyes watering. It's like, I'm sick. Usually it worked, but not this day. My mom says, "If you miss one more day of school, the truant officer is going to take you." And I'm like, "No, please." Still to this day, I don't know if it's true or not, but I couldn't chance it. Then my mom said, "I'm going to take you to one of those certified doctors to see what's wrong with you, why you can't go to school." And then the next day, my mom takes me to one of these certified doctors, and that's another thing I've always wondered my whole life. Why are certified doctors always bored? What's up with that? Anyway, the doctor gave me this horrible tasting medicine that tastes like super strong peppermint. So whenever I pretended to be sick, my mom would say, "If you don't go to school, you have to take your medicine." I'm like, "No, please." When I got older, I realized it wasn't even real medicine. My mom just told the doctor, "Just give him some fake medicine, he won't know the difference." So now I hate peppermint. Thanks, Mom. So then I started going to school almost every day. And I walk into the classroom and the teacher say, "Well, there's Sunshine Boy. It must be a sunny day. I mean, who needs a weatherman when you got Sunshine Boy?" And I had to walk to the back of the class and sit down and, try to figure out how to make ends meet. This particular day, I was glad that I went to school. My teacher said, "I have a surprise for you all." And I was like, "Oh," it was like a ray of sunshine, maybe because it was a sunny day. So he said, "Come outside." So I walked outside, and there it was. A bookmobile. You heard me right. A bookmobile. It's like a library on wheels. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. It was covered with these paintings. It's like the Cat in the Hat Three Little Pigs, The Seven Dwarfs. I mean, this thing was amazing. And then I walk inside of this thing. The smell was like a book with rubber tires. If I could capture that smell into an air freshener, I would. It's like amazing. There must have been 1,000 books in there. I'm not sure because, you know, at the time I was only like 6 years old and I could probably only count to 10. But then I began to wonder, how do all these books stay on the shelves? Because, you know, where we live, there's lots of hills and bumps. And I thought, well, there must be a librarian that stays back here. And she's like, catching the books, you know, as they fall off the shelves. And I snapped back to reality, and I'm like, all of a sudden, there's one particular book that captures my eye. And then I look closer, I find this book, and guess what it's called? Well, I mean, first I had to read it. You know, I was only like 6. Reading the title took me about 45 minutes because I'm like, how to make. Now I figured out how to make ends meet. I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. I found a book about how to make ends meet. I mean, I was so happy. And I pulled this book off the shelf. My teacher was like, Mike, are you sure you want this book? Don't you want, like, I don't know, Peter Rabbit or something? No, I want this book. And my teacher's like rolling his eyes. Ooh, okay. Wow. So after school, I meet up with my sister before we get on the bus. And I'm like holding a grip on this book, like not even the bully in kindergarten could pull this book away. So my sister Lynn and I get on the bus to go home. Oh, that's another thing. Let me tell you about our bus ride. I mean, where we live, there's big hills, man. Up, down. This one particular area. I mean, my bus driver had to get up enough speed down this hill to make it up the other hill. And let me tell you, by the time we got to the bottom of this hill, we're going like 120 miles an hour. And my sister and I were like, see the driver looking in the mirror back at us. We're like, look at the road! We look like the scene from Spies Like Us when the guys were taking the training in the simulator. They go, want some coffee? Some bus driver has it floored and we're screaming. Finally we get to the bottom of this hill, then we have to start the descent. Next, we slow down to like 90 miles an hour. We're like, ah. And then we feel the bus shifting down. By the time we got to the top of this hill, we're only going like 20 miles an hour, and I'm like, man, we need to put a turbo on this thing. So we get home, I begin to read my book which, took me about 2 weeks because I was 6 years old and couldn't read very good. I had to sound out every letter, so it took me about 2 weeks to read this book. But I finally get it read. And guess what? Guess what this book said? Are y'all sitting down for this? How to make ends meet. This book says you need to budget your money to make ends meet. I'm like, what? Man, this must be some special meats. Was it made of gold? You gotta budget your money to make this ends meet? Wow, no wonder my parents could never make it. Then I proudly walk up to my mom and said, Mom, I know how you and Dad can make ends meet. She's like, how, son? I'm like, you have to budget your money. You're so smart, Mike. Why can't your sister Linda be as smart as you? Excuse me, best day of my life. A week later, my mom told me, thanks for your advice, Mike. Now your father and I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's another thing I've been wondering my whole life. Why are so many people in tunnels these days? There's no McDonald's in the tunnel, no Walmart, no cell phone reception. I'm like, get out of these tunnels and start making ends meet. Thank you. Y'all been great. Have a good night. Bye.